Hi friends, it's Kirsten. Thanks for joining me again today. I would like to talk about something that's very much been on the front of my mind in my own life, and if you follow me on Instagram at TwinTalksBallet, you've seen my recent post about this and just kind of followed me as I 1 month ago about publicly decided to no longer pursue a professional career in dance just for the time being. I don't know how long that's gonna last. I'm just really holding my future with open hands, so to speak, and I'm still dancing, to be clear, loving it more than ever. My thoughts are going to come out a little bit more about this in this video because today I really want to talk about or give you my insights to help you know if you're kind of going through a point of tension with dance. When is it time for you to take a break? What might be some warning signs? So I'll just talk you through some things. I don't want to make this seem super clear cut or like it's a formula and if you ever feel this, then you should just quit. No. The viewpoint I'm advocating for is that deep down, you know what is right for you. No one can really tell you this. You need to come to this decision on your own. But what I do want to give you today are just some ideas, some thoughts, like I said, insights. I think that's the best word for it. That helps you come to a place of peace, hopefully, whether you decide to stay in dance, to take a break, or to quit permanently. So I hope this is encouraging to you because these insights and these thoughts have really set me free, and they only helped me in my life. So I do hope that this video blesses you. So let's get on with it. Oh, again, disclaimer though, if you want more help on a one-on-one basis, I still have plenty of sessions open on mentorly.co. I'll have the link down below so you can sign up for a 1 hour long session with me, and I would be more than happy and honored to talk with you and help you kind of go through whatever you're going through in dance. And if you want some one-on-one help, if you feel very mentally unclear about what to do, I'd love to help you get some direction if you'd like to do the same. So now we'll get on with it. So the first thing I want to say is that every person, every dancer ever, gets exhausted at some point or thinks the thought, should I do this anymore? Is this worth it to me? Everybody feels uninspired at some point in time because it's hard, okay? And everyone knows that on like a surface level, but if you don't really accept that you're not alone in that dance is really, really hard if you're pursuing it seriously, you're gonna feel alone and questioning like, oh, am I the only one? Maybe that means I should quit. If anything, I want to help you not be afraid of your thoughts today, because I actually believe that fear is what keeps you away from what you know deep down to be true about the answer for your own life. Should you go on? Should you stop? If you're really at a crossroads where you have the option to choose, as in something like a physical limitation is not actually pulling you out of dance, or financial reasons, or whatever life circumstance, if you feel like you have the option to choose to stay or not, seriously in dance, then what I want for you is to not be guided by fear, because oftentimes fear is what keeps people in dance. It doesn't actually drive them out. I see people who are really afraid of pursuing dance, but they still do it on like a surface level, and then once you're in it, I see a lot of people who feel like they know deep down that's not really meant for them. It's not making them happy. It's not filling them up. It's not where they are best used in the world. Yet it's their fear of the unknown that keeps them in it. If this is you, you really need to keep exploring and dig deeper, because I think no matter what we do in life, we shouldn't be dictated by our fears. I believe that every single person has intuition, a conscience, a guiding force within them, and you know what feels right. You could be, not, this isn't for every situation or deliberation, but for me, oftentimes I find that I'm guided by my peace. If I step out into a big decision, I might not feel peace coming up to it, but once I feel like I adjust myself to whatever is involved with the new decision, instantly there's peace, and that's how I know it's right. So try to let your peace guide you if you can. Be brave. Try to be very aware of your fears and don't let them own you. Observe your thoughts, whether they be positive or negative, and you can actually distance yourself from your thoughts and say, I just had a thought. Is that true? Is that based in self-love and, whatever principles guide your life? And you can kind of deliberate with yourself and find your voice of reason. That's certainly going to help guide you if you're faced with a big decision. Another really big point is that I think a lot of what inspires fear in people who don't know if they should continue or take a break is that a lot of times the way people talk about taking a break, or they say quitting or whatever, people make it seem in the field of ballet specifically, or just dance in general, like it's so time sensitive. Obviously, like, youth is valued in physical professions. But like, people make it seem like if you take a break for your mental health, to do something else that fills you with purpose at that time, or whatever, if you ever deviate from that path, dance won't be there when you come back. You just threw away everything. First off, I want you to get rid of the notion that anything can be thrown away. I think things are thrown away, again, when our actions are dictated by our fears, because then we often don't reach for the things that we're meant to do in life, because they're too scary. They're too outside of our comfort zone. So anyway, I kind of lost my train of thought there, but don't let people tell you that, or convince you that the path to being a dancer or enjoying dance is super linear. Just like I talked about with my injury experience, recoveries are not a linear process. You feel good and then you feel terrible and you're like, I'm gonna have to quit dance. I'll never be okay again, or walk, or whatever. Or for me, I'll never be able to straighten my leg again. And then today I did Grand Allegro, so how about that? That's pretty cool. Nothing in life is linear. Everybody lives their individual lives. So who's to say you can't come back? I really, really, really believe that if it's right for you, dance will be right there when you're ready to come back to it. But what you owe yourself is a full life where you... Gotta check in for my flight. Sorry if my camera adjusted, I just had to check in for a flight. But what I'm saying is that you owe it to yourself to live a full life where you recognize your potential as a person. No one comes out of the womb and is only a dancer, 100%, that's all they're worth, because not a single person lives 100% of their existence just as a dancer. That is their only title, that's their only purpose, that's the only reason why they're on earth, Absolutely not. There are going to be things that pull at your heart at certain times that, like for me, I got an education. I went to college for dance, and at the time I was dancing at the Houston Ballet Academy, and that is not really something a lot of people in my class ever conceived was like a good idea for someone who wanted to be a professional dancer. It was like, you're going to school, that's basically where dreams go to die. And it totally was right for me. I have such another side to me that I have to give as a person who likes to think and to learn, and an education was something I really valued in my life as something to aspire to get. Or a formal education, I believe we're never done learning, so that is certainly the case for me. But anyway, I knew I wanted to go to college, and I also knew I wanted to dance, and I made both happen. And that was right for me, so I had peace about it. It was wonderful, and I never felt like, well, I just totally gave up. I wasn't afraid. And so I think everyone is going to experience at some point in their life a time where dance in their heart is not the number one thing they care about. So if you know this deep down and the benefits are not outweighing the cost for you in dance, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to do it recreationally. For me, it has been so incredibly healing mentally and physically to take the expectations off. I have always loved to dance since I was young. It's just, I've actually, to be honest, never experienced true burnout. So that's not something I know from experience and can really talk about. But I've seen many, many people go through it. Obviously, I understand it on a fundamental level. Um, but for me, physically, ballet began to be too much. And I realized there's just so much more I have to give as a person and so much more I want to do in my life. And what set me free to take a break is knowing that dance doesn't go away in my life. I'm still a dancer. I can still do it for fun and have more fun than ever. Of course, it takes work and a little bit of inner strife to redefine the way I relate to dance in my life. Like, that's been a bit of an adjustment, but in general, it has been such a wonderful thing for me to realize that I'm free to live the life that best suits me because I am not anybody else. I mean, I even have an identical twin sister, and we live drastically different lives, and we're very happy. There's nobody who can replace you, who can specifically touch the other people in your life who are around you, who can fulfill the same, like I keep saying purpose because, I mean, obviously, like I've talked about, I believe in what some people call fate and, meaning of life. I believe in the meaning of life. But anyway, there's nobody who could fill your shoes. And so I think what's really damaging about social media and just general messages that we get all the time is that if you aren't living the same life as somebody else, you're not allowed to be happy. So you've got to stay in that pursuit of your life looking like somebody else's life, or else you're not happy. And oh, by the way, all this time you're spending when you're not happy, make sure to buy this thing and do this thing to look like this person. Like, that just sets us in this figurative hamster like little treadmill, the little roller, the circular things they run in. Obviously you guys all know what I'm talking about, where we're all occupied doing something else other than what is most meaningful for us in our lives. So don't fall into that trap. Specifically as that relates to dance, don't feel like there's just one way to be a dancer and to enjoy it. I hope that this sets a lot of you guys free to do what's right for you and know that you can enjoy dance in many different ways. You never failed. You never threw anything away. Like for me, I know my family spent so much money on my training, and I spent so much time and effort getting into all these ballet schools, weeks going to summer intensives. I spent 2 years at Houston Ballet Academy. I studied, like, my major in dance or in college was a BFA in ballet. So I could have majored in something else. There was so much I sacrificed to be a dancer, yet it was all 100% worth it. And I wouldn't take any of it back, even though I only danced professionally for, well, I guess a year and a half, but the second half was, like, most of that I was not really functioning. I just did the Nutcracker, really. So, of course, on paper, that doesn't seem like it would add up, but a career in ballet is nothing like any other career. You don't measure it by the finances, like, obviously, otherwise it's a terrible idea. But the amount of fulfillment and purpose it brought into my life, the character development, the personal development, like, that's kind of the same thing. Just everything it gave to me made it worth it. And also, one thing I've been really, really, really into recently is the parable of, I might have talked about this before, but, well, not the parable. There is a parable in this, but I don't know it well enough to share it with you. So the thought that we truly don't know what is good and what is bad. These are all subjective terms that we apply to feelings that we feel about situations that come from learned behaviors. So we, for instance, watch other people when we're growing up go through something, or maybe they lose their job and everyone says, oh, that's bad, and that person feels kind of sad about it. So we learn, we're supposed to feel sad when you lose a job or something doesn't turn out the way you want it to. But Do we really know the implications of that? No. A lot of times it actually becomes clear to us in our lives that these things we saw as negative at one point in life turned into a positive thing. That one event that we saw as negative we could not have avoided it and ended up in this good place we're in life. Good, you know? So what I'm getting at is that you can't just take your emotions and what other people tell you to feel about something and say, ugh, you know, if I stop dance now, that would just be really sad and I'd be super depressed because I wouldn't know what else to do and I would be a failure. That is all a bunch of baloney, because if that is what you know in your heart you're supposed to do, nobody can truly tell you different, okay? And success and failure are completely made up things. So living your life that is best for you and that is lived only by you, in which you live to your fullest potential, is what you owe to yourself, and you can argue to the people around you. All right? There are a lot of you who, I've gotten a couple messages about not being sure of what to do. You maybe, for instance, I got a message about a lovely girl who got into her dream ballet school, but she feels like she kind of just wants to stay home and do the high school thing, you know, live a more normal life, I suppose. And in that case, you shouldn't think of everything as like life as a all or nothing kind of deal, or I should say dancing as an all or nothing kind of deal. To be a dancer, you don't have to go all in. You also, if you want to take a break, that doesn't mean entirely quitting. So what I advise anybody to do in a situation is follow their gut, their heart, whatever organ you want to assign your emotional guidance. Such a weird thing, guiding by heart and gut. That's like random organs. But anyway, now I'm just thinking about all these weird social constructs we have. I would encourage anyone who's going through that kind of crossroads decision to make the one that feels right, even if it's scary, and know that you're not entirely throwing something away on the other end. One thing I hadn't mentioned yet that I talk about all the time in my videos is knowing why you dance. Not just dance, but what are your deep motivations for things? What do you really want to get out of your next steps, whether that be to pursue dance professionally or to take a break? Like, what is it that you really want and why? You really need to be introspective if you're going through something like this. This is like a very practical tip. Be really, really conscious. Like, I'd say even do a meditation practice or something. Anything introspective, contemplative, you know, when you contemplate things just within yourself. Be really aware of your inner voice. Know, if you uncover your motivations for your actions, usually that guides you. You know, if you uncover it, and at the core of it, it'll be super obvious if it is right or wrong, superficial or deep. Okay, I'm going to interrupt whatever thoughts I was just communicating, because this is turning into a very chatty thing. I will list that in the title to be fair, so you all know what you're getting into. I know this wasn't very concrete. I just want to put ideas out there into the world that I feel are not communicated enough, so that you have more information available to you, more perspective, so that you can make your own personal decision. And just know that if you do things with the right intention, with thoughtfulness, knowing your motivations for what you're doing, and you have a very clear perspective on why you're dancing, what other things are outside of dance that are calling your name, so to speak. Do those things mean more to you than dance? If you could really be honest to yourself about that and understand like what is really going to feel like a burden and a sacrifice and what is going to give you peace, then I believe you'll make the right decision. I don't want to make a video where I tell you what to do. I just wanted to make this because I've learned a lot in the last month or so, and I just want to share those thoughts so that hopefully you can feel stronger in whatever decision you make. And even I'd be so happy if I provided you with another option, another way of thinking in your decision making process. So, love you all. Thanks for sticking through this video. I hope it really helped you. And I actually have to go teach now because I've been talking for so long that I lost track of time. Anyway, please subscribe if you like this. Going into my pitch now. Support me on Patreon if you feel so inclined. I'd really appreciate it to help support this channel. I'd love that. And shout out to my current patrons. Love you guys. Thank you so much for your help. I love producing these videos and just sharing and giving whatever I can, sending out as much love and positivity into the world as I want to receive. I just love that. So thank you so much for enabling me in that way and for your generosity if you're a patron. All the links and whatnot will be down below to the things you can do in regards to your involvement with Twin Talks Ballet, which is me. I think that's it. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Hasta la vista.